Hey everybody, it's Weldon. It is the Snowmageddon on the 3rd of February 2022. Today we are going to work towards creating a flyer, which is not going to take us too terribly long because I'm not going to create this from scratch. We're going to try to find a recycling flyer that's out there. And the purpose of this is I need to create a recycling flyer, update my existing recycling flyer from the one that we've been using for, I think, 4 years. It's time to give it a fresh new look. If something out there exists that I like, and if there isn't, then I'm going to have to settle for whatever flyer I want to go to. For this tutorial, you don't need to load any software. You don't need to do anything. All you need to do is get onto a screen that you can see fine writing with, a computer, a larger tablet. Your cell phone is going to be hard, but you probably still can follow along. And I'm going to walk you through step by step what I'm doing. I'm going to create this flyer, again, for my business, for Weldon PC. We need a recycling flyer. We're going to use Publisher because I think that's probably going to be the best way to go about it. Publisher's not my favorite, but I need to do a how-to video to put out there. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So here we are on the desktop. I'm going to click my Start menu. I'm going to type in Publisher, and we're going to open. Now, before we get started, I do not want some crazy. I don't want just a standard template. I could, of course, download a template from Microsoft and use any one of the templates they have. I don't want those templates. I want something fresh and new. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new window, and we are going to go to google.com. And why we're going to Google, we're going to type in computer recycling flyer file type colon PUB for publisher. The reason we're doing that is because if we do the PUB, that's what a publisher file is. What I can do is I can go through and I can see all of the publisher files that Google has listed. There aren't many great searches for your results, so let's see if there's anything here. It doesn't look like there is. Computer recycling. So let's say recycling flyer. Doesn't look like we have anything. So let's look up a free one here. I want to look at just a couple flyers to see if there's anything here that I like. So I'm going to hit View All. It's going to show us the images. I want something that's not going to consume a ton of toner. So things like, all this green. That's a lot of toner to use. Like this darker one here with those darker corners. That's a ton of toner to use. I want something that's not going to consume an armload of toner. Kind of like, that's kind of a lot of graphics. But let's take a look at this. So let's get in the mindset now that we're going to create something like this. But we're going to use all animated, not animated, but clip art to do this. So let's go to our publisher. We want to make it 8.5 by 11, which is standard, standard piece of paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some clip art. So I'm going to do insert, and I want to insert my images first, and then we'll delete them as I want to get rid of them. I don't want pictures, online pictures, shapes. Do I have clip art in here? No, that's just shapes. Let's see, we got picture placeholder, page parts. That's kind of neat. So I don't see a clip art like we used to have, which isn't a big deal. I'm just kind of thumbing through here. Borders and accents. We have calendars we can insert. Page parts, stories. No. I'll say online. Of course, it's not responding because the compute. Why would the computer guy's computer want to work? We'll give it just a second and then we'll close it. Not working. Oh wow, it actually crashed my entire publisher. All right, so let's start over. Thankfully, we didn't get too far into this, but let's go to Insert, and let's try Online Pictures one more time. And while we're doing that, there we go. So the problem is I don't want to use images like actual images. I want to use clip art. So this is not what I'm looking for. And I don't have any pictures on the computer that I'd like to use. So here's what we'll do. We'll come back here. Now I'm going to keep this open, and I'm going to open a new tab. And the reason I'm opening a new tab is because I want to look for a bottle in a plastic bag like electronics. So let's do computer clip art in our search bar. And we'll go to images, and we will pull up, this is a good image, we can use this. Actually, let's use this one. I think that's, well, I gotta make a decision here. Let's see. It's kind of a grainy image, so I'm going to scroll down here. We'll use this image. I'm just going to right click, go to copy image. Now we've copied the image into memory. We're just going to click back into our publisher document, right click, and we're going to paste it. So now we have that image available. I'm going to stick it outside of the piece of paper. We're going to line up some images on the outside of this page, and that's what we're going to put into our page. So computer clip art, let's say laptop clip art, because we do recycle laptops. So we'll use this first one here. I like that one as long as the edges smooth up. And the edges are not smoothing up, so we'll pick this one because the edges on that are smooth. We're going to copy. We're going to come back into here. We're going to paste. And now we're going to drag it off to the side. And we're going to reduce the image size by grabbing these little bubbles on the edge. That's called a handlebar. And we're going to reduce the size of that to roughly the size of the one above it. All right, so we do recycle laptops, we do recycle desktops, we do recycle tablets. Now, tablet clip art may bring up things that aren't tablets, like a stone tablet, for instance. Let's see, tablet clip art. So I think I will pick, oh, what's a good one to use here? I want something with either a clear or a white background. So for instance, if you see this, this right here, and I click on that image, it might take me to a web page, which is fine. The dotted lines generally mean that is a, I can download this and it won't have that image. So if I put it over a blue background or a different colored background, there won't be a background to it, which is good. I'll download this because I think we're okay to do that from this website. So I'm going to say View Clip Art, and it's going to automatically download. We'll give it about 10 seconds. Now, I've never been to this website, pinclipart.com, so I'm going to be careful here because I want to make sure that at the bottom here, in the bottom left, you see where it says the whole website.png. We know we're downloading an image file, because that's what a PNG is. It's an image file like a JPEG or anything else. So I'm going to open this. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to copy. I'm going to go back to our publisher, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to hit the paste icon. So there we go. You see we don't have the white background like we do in these other two images, which is fine that we do, fine that we don't. We just need the clip art. So we've got 3. We probably need 1 more image. So a total of 5 images is what we're going to need. Let me close some of the windows so we don't get too crazy here. So we need to go back to Google, and let's look up the recycling logo. We'll look up recycle icon clip art. It's probably the best way to go about it, which these are all very, very good. So let's go in here and see what comes up that's not grainy. Again, white background would be preferable. So I want to find something that is basic, but not too basic. Something that's complicated, but not too complicated. I know that's kind of a strange way to say that, but I just want to find something that is desirable. Let's go with this guy here. As long as that image cleans up, you see how it's not very fine on the edges there? I'm not okay with that, so let's look for a different one. We've got this one here. Let's copy this and see what happens with this dotted background. If it doesn't have the dashed background in there, I use the Control V on the keyboard, and now we're not responding again. So we'll give it a second to do that. In the meantime, let's go back and look for, oh, excuse me, we're looking for another icon to use just in case. Oh, we didn't get our image because it's a WebP. It's an image you can't really do much with, so we're not going to use that icon. Let's see what else we have. That's a little pale. I want something that's got a vibrant green to it. So let's try this. I'm going to right click on this one and copy image. We're going to paste. And again, we don't have it. So I'm going to click on this and see, what does it say? iconarchive.com. I'm going to download the PNG. And if I right click and copy image and go back in there, right click and paste the image, there we go. We got a nice clean recycle icon. All right. So let's go back. We need to get 4 more icons. Let's get something that we'll say recycle clip art. Let's see. Let's say electronics recycle. Although this icon right here, although that's a licensable, we can't use that. So we need to find something that's free to use. So let's say I want to take this image here, but I don't want the electronic recycling text across the bottom, because I don't. If you press your start button and you type in the word sketch, there's something called the snip and sketch tool. And if you open the snip and sketch tool and you click on the new, you'll see the screen kind of turns a little bit dark, and I can hover over this. I can select, copy, and drag this until it looks pretty square. And then when I copy it, that's what we have. Now that's already copied, so I don't have to copy this. But I can go back into our publisher document, right click, use our paste icon, or Control V will paste in, and there's that recycling icon. Now I'm going to keep that for now. I like that one. I like that one too. Let's keep it for now. Let's go find 3 more images, and then let's start putting the text into our publisher document. So let's go back to here, and let's just kind of thumb through and see if we can find anything. That's kind of a neat icon, a neat piece of clip art. But again, it's pretty grainy, and I need something that looks clean. So this one here looks pretty neat. But again, it's pretty grainy for what we want to use. We want something clean. That one looks good, and it cleaned up well. So I'm going to right click and save image as. Now we'll just copy the image. Then I'm going to just right click in here and paste. All right. We're going to drag it down to roughly the size of what we have there. Okay. I'll bring it up just a little bit. There we go. So now we need two more icons. So let's see, what else do we want to recycle? We'll say phones. So we'll say mobile phone clip art. And again, I don't want to use this all black screen on here. It indicates a good cell phone. The problem is it's going to be a lot of toner to use. So I want to find something that's kind of at an angle like that. That might be good. Let's see what we can find. I like how it's at an angle though. So like that's kind of square on. I don't know if I like that. Um, let's see. This isn't terrible. I'm not crazy about the orange part on there. So I'm just going to thumb through here and find a couple more one or two more images. That actually doesn't look bad. I think that's going to be our guy. So we'll use that for the cell phone. Copy image. We're going to go back here. We're going to paste it in. Right click and then hit the paste icon. And we're going to reduce it down in size to about the size of what everybody else is using. Let's see. So we need one more image. And while we're doing that, I'm going to take a second and I'm going to let's see here. I'm sorry, everybody. I actually went live in the wrong group, but that's okay. You guys can benefit from this as well as everybody else. So I'm just pasting a link in the Weldon PC group. All right, so we need one more icon to put, or one more piece of clip art to complete this. And what we want to do is, okay, so we got a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, cell phones. This is something that represents old electronics. So why don't we do stereo equipment? Because we do, you know what we'll do that's better? We'll do VCR DVD clip art. Because that indicates something that we do actually quite a bit of recycling on. So let's go with a piece of clip art though. So this guy's kind of close. That's not clip art though. That's an actual photo. We want some kind of clip art. So we'll hit the X there. Let's see if we can find something that indicates a good representation of what we would recycle. So scroll down here. Let's see. You know what? That kind of reminds me of a VCR, but it looks like it's got a DVD going into it. I think that's kind of neat. Let's see if there's anything else underneath this that would look good, that would represent what we're trying to accomplish. That one might look better. Little grainy though. Let's try this guy. No, still too grainy. That looks good. Let's copy that and see how it looks when we paste it in. Nope, I didn't like that. Let's go back. Let's click on there and see if we can download this. So make a symbol. I don't want to go through their weird process. It kind of seems a little out of sorts to me. That seems a little out of sort too. Hit the wrong button. Wanted to copy that. Copy image, go back in, and now we're going to paste. Problem is I don't know if preference-wise, I'm not sure if I'm crazy about that. So I'm going to hit the delete key on my keyboard, and I'm going to come back in here and let's find, how about that guy? Let's use that one instead. Right click, hit the little paste icon. So now we have our images that we can use. Now we don't have to use all of these. We can, we don't have to. On my other screen, I'm going to open my business card. I'm going to use my old business card actually because it doesn't take up that much ink or toner. So let me see if this looks okay. Oh, I didn't intend to open that with Photoshop. Yeah, that's all accurate information. We're going to hit cancel on the Photoshop thing. Let's see if we have anything else in here. Probably not. So let's dump that in there. So we have that as an option, and then we're going to want the logo. So let me go back to my documents and pull out, and all I'm doing is dragging my logo. I'll show you what I'm doing. These are some of the logos that we have. I'm going to drag let's go with the black logo. So we're just going to drag that over and drop it, and there's our black logo. So we're going to leave that there, and it's resized. So now we have all of our information that we're going to need as far as graphic-wise. Now we got to put in some text, and so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Insert. Let's take a look at the word art because that could be something useful for us. It may be nothing, but we'll try something. So we're going to say recycle old electronics. It's a little too bland for my liking. So I'm going to go up here to the style, the word art styles, and I'm just going to thumb through a couple of these and see. Yeah, I don't quite care for that. Let's change the style back to the one that was black, but it kind of grays out. I don't like that, so we're going to do shape fill to black. Now that looks better. And then I'm going to grab the handlebar. I'm going to hold the shift key down so it maintains what's called an aspect ratio. That's so I don't end up with something that's, like all jumbled up. So I'm going to Control Z to undo, and I want it to maintain that that size. So I'm going to click the handlebar, I'm going to hold shift, and we're going to drag it out to about there. Recycle old electronics. I'm happy with that. I think we need some kind of a separation here, maybe a line. So let's do insert, and let's do shapes. Now, a line is a shape. I'm just looking through what my options could be here. Let's just start with a line, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go down. I'm going to hold shift because it'll level that line off. If I drag it down, it drags it down every so many degrees, but I want it flat. So I'm going to drag it out from blue line. That's these blue lines are kind of the margins for the page, and I want to get it close to that margin. I can zoom in on this when we're getting close. Down here in the bottom, I can zoom in and out. So if I zoom in Yeah, we're good on those margins. So I'm going to zoom us back out to about 70. There we go, 73, 74%. So now let's put in maybe this logo. Let's drag this logo over here. Yeah, I don't like that. So let's keep putting our information in. So I'm going to insert a text box so we can type some information. So we're going to say insert on the top, that's our ribbon there. We're going to say text box, and we're going to draw out a text box. All right. Now I want to remove the border from our text box. So if I go to, let's click off of it. Oh, so we don't even have the borders there. That's exactly what I wanted. So we'll drag out to that margin line there. Same thing there. All right, so we're not going to get fancy um, on the font and the font size and all that yet. What we're going to do is we're going to say who, what, where, when, and that should cover who, anybody can recycle, what, it's recycling, where, we'll put our information in, and when, we're going to add that information as well. So who, do you have old electronics around your home or office? Okay, what? Recycle them and earn and get in-store service credit. Recycle where? C.com, 5829 Turney Road, Garfield Heights, Ohio, 44125. When? Do I want to put anything for when? Noon till 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Now, I put in the who, what, where, when, and why. Do we really need that? For some of them, I feel that we do. So we're going to remove that from here. We're going to center this. All right. So the what. We don't really need the what. So let's remove the what and center that line. We really don't need the where here. But for the sake of what we're doing here, all right, so we'll remove that. We'll center this. And now we have our basic information. If I zoom us out to fit the whole page, if I show the whole page, that's the icon in the bottom right-hand corner of Publisher. So obviously, if you're looking at this thing from across the room, you're not going to see it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to increase the font size so that nothing has broken the line break. So everything is, you have old electronics around the home or office, let's make that bold. Let's go a little bit bigger in size. And maybe consider a different font. Now I've got several thousand fonts. I'm going to pick one that we use often, called Futura. So I'm going to go down to the Futura area of fonts. So let's go with the big. So I like that. I like that, but it's on two lines. So we're going to reduce the font size. A little too bold for me. So I'm going to remove the bold and I'm going to bump that size back up. Maybe manually drop it from 18 points down to 17. How does that look? So that's good. So recycle your old electronics. Do you have old electronics around your office? So now we're going to make this a different style of Futura. So now this doesn't have to be quite as big and bold. And I see if I get that icon right there, I'm dragging this box around. I don't want to do that. So if I hit Control Z, it'll take it back. If I triple click, so 1, 2, 3, it selects that whole line. We can drop it down in size, and then we're going to pick a different font. Let's see. So now I'm going to go in here and find another Futura that I like. Maybe the Futura Light, the medium. Okay, that doesn't look bad. Now we're going to make this one probably the smallest line because it's the least important. So we'll go down to 14. We're going to go back in here. We're going to go to Futura again. We're going to do something condensed. Condensed is kind of a narrower font, and maybe bump it up a size or two. Because again, when we look at it at 100%, it's all Futura except for that top line, which we could change that, I'm sure, in this word art. So I don't want to change the shape, although we could, but that's not what I want to do here. Let's see if we can change the style. So we used this originally. I want to change the fill to solid black. The outline, the effect. So there's a shadow that's there, and I can modify that shadow if I want to. I'm not going to mess with the shadow. So I want to say format word art and see if I can change the font in here. There's no font selection. And frankly, the more we're sitting here looking at this, the more I'm not really thrilled with the font. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this down. See, I've got that kind of plus sign with the arrows. I'm just going to drag it down for now. We're going to hold on to it there. I'm going to draw another text box up here at the top. So we're about where I want to be. We're going to center it, and we're going to say recycle old. Recycle old electronics. So now I'm going to go back into my font drop down under fonts, and I'm going to go back into Futura because that's the font that we're using. Make it big and bold, and we're going to make it as big as we can before it wants to break that line. So we've broken the line. We're going to come back, and then let's say we want to stretch that out a little bit. So let's say loose for the spacing. So that kind of drags it out, but it's still kind of plain. So let's add shape format. So let's do an outline. Well, that just gave us an outline for the box. I didn't want that. So if I right click on it and I go to, what do I have here? Grow text to fit. Grow text box to fit. So that means it'll fit if I were to reduce the size of this. Well, it's supposed to make that fit, actually. Well, let's leave it like this for now, actually. That's not bad. So let's get rid of the recycle old electronics. All right, so we're going to delete that because this is better, but maybe we should make it all capitals. Well, instead of retyping it, if I change text, right click on it after highlighting, change text, and then go to font. Once the font window comes up, I can do small caps or I can do all caps. So let's do small caps and hit apply and see what that looks like. Which I think I like that look. So we'll leave that look alone. All right. So now we still have all of our images we need to place. So what do we want to do with the images here? Let's drag this down a little bit more. Let's pop this guy in. Okay, now from where you're sitting, you probably see that this is kind of got a gray background to it. So if I go to Format Picture, I should have a tool in here to remove the background. And it's not background removal tool or anything like that, but I do have, let's see what we've got here. We don't want to recolor it, although that's kind of a neat option too. So you've got the option of recoloring it. Picture border, that's not what we want to do. Picture effect, no. Let's see what we can do about getting rid of that. So we don't want to put a border in there. We don't want to color it or line it. I just want to get rid of that background. Don't mind me, I'm just thumbing through this to see what we can do. So I just filled that to the background. Not what I want to do, but it's not a bad idea either. So one thing I could do is if let's do an undo on this. All right, so let's make some changes to the picture. So we're going to format the picture. We're going to recolor it, but we're going to make it super, super dim, like light. And now if I right click and I do apply to background and I do fill, and then I remove that picture out, we have this. Now it's a little bit too light still, so I'm going to try to recolor that picture again. So we're going to do super, super bright. I'm going to right click on it, apply to background and fill, and it's even brighter yet. But I still want to go brighter. So I'm going to do format picture. We're going to recolor. Let's do corrections. See, we can make it a lot lighter in the corrections. Now let's right click on it, apply to background and do fill. There. Now when we print it out, it'll be subtle when it's printed. And I'll show you, if I hit Control P on the keyboard, that's what we're dealing with right now. We're not there by a long shot. I still want to make some changes to my flyer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's see what I want to do next. We need to add some color to it, obviously. So let's throw the laptop in there that we were looking at earlier. And let's go to Format Picture, Correction, and let's, yeah, that just recolored it. It didn't remove the background because we see right there we're missing some background. If I recolor, let's see what happens. And it doesn't give us our background. I don't want to compress the image. So I'm just looking through here. There should be a way to remove it. And the interesting thing is we can Google this too. Remove background from image in Publisher. Select the picture that you want to create transparent areas in. Select Picture Tools. We're going to say Format Picture because I think the instructions I'm looking at are old. So I'm going to go to Transparency. Transparency didn't do much. Picture Tools. Where's Picture Tools at? Let's see here. We should have Picture Tools. Let me get better instructions. Picture Tools. Okay, so we're on the Picture Tools bar. So it says Recolor, Set Transparent Color. If I hit that right there, now you'll see we have our transparent background. So just by Googling remove background from image in Publisher 365, it gave us a very basic, let me show you. So I was able to Google that, and it gave me those basic set of instructions. So even I need help from time to time, and we got it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and do recolor, set transparent color, and just click, and then you'll see how that's a real dirty image there. So that may not be good for our use, but if I click on this image and do recolor, set transparent color, we got rid of the background there. Recolor, set transparent color, that was clean. If I click the tablet, we're probably going to have a problem here because there's a gradient, a shaded area. Set transparent color. So let's see what that looks like if I drag it over. So the shaded area actually came through okay. So we'll use the desktop computer, format picture, recolor, set transparent. That came through very clean. We're going to go over here and take a look. That's already a transparent image. That's why you can see the background through the area there. So let's take a look at this one more time, and let's kind of blow it up so we can work on this. And let's do recolor, set transparent color, and then we just go in here and click. It didn't really do anything because we should see what's in the background. So recolor, set transparent, and then you see how we got some issues there. So it really didn't give us the transparency that we needed. So we may not use that image, but I wanted to at least walk you through that so you could see what I'm working with and some of the obstacles you might work with too. But whenever you're designing these things, you always have to remember that it's always very possible that you may need to rethink your image work if you're doing a flyer like this, because you never know what roadblocks you're going to bump into. I want to make these computers face each other, so, or at least face the same direction. So if I grab that handlebar and I hold the shift key down, let's see, I can flip that out so they're both facing the same direction. I'm not going to do that because it doesn't make sense, but I'm going to leave the laptop over there facing this way. I'm going to take the desktop and face it that way. That way they're kind of facing each other. We're going to drop this text box down just a little bit more for a nice clean spacing. We'll throw the recycle logo up here. We're going to make it a little bit smaller though. So I think we're looking good so far. And I think right now we'll drop the business card in here. We're going to make it bigger. And we should space this stuff out just a little bit more. So that looks like we're heading in the right direction here. One thing I don't like, which you can't really tell from here that isn't palatable, is if I go to Control P or File, and then I go to Print. This is my print preview here. I like a border. This doesn't have a border. This looks very unfinished to me. The other thing I just noticed is we have this big white area around the business card. I don't like that either. So let's do our recolor and set transparent color and see if we get away with that. And we did, so it looks good. Now we need to put a border in. So let's go Insert, and let's look at some of the things we have here, because we should have the ability of just doing an insert with a border. One thing we could do if we don't have the option is we could just insert a border and manually make a box and then just create, put a box in. And I think that might be what we're doing. So let's do shapes. We're going to do a box. Let's do a rectangle instead. And let's go from just outside that margin there to just outside that margin there. I'm not thinking I'm going to like this, actually. And you might think that I've made some terrible, grave mistake. In actuality, if you see this button up here, it says Send Backwards. And I click that a few times, you'll see that everything else is now in front. Problem is, I don't like where we're at with this. I don't like that shaded area, which I could get rid of, but I don't like that style for the flyer that I'm trying to do here. So we're going to go back to Insert. We're going to do Shapes again. We're going to do a squared rectangle this time. And again, I'm going to go from just outside and above to just below and to the side on that margin box there. I'm going to right click on this and go to Format Auto Shape. So the fill color we're going to make white. I don't want any fill color in there. As a matter of fact, I want to say no color because I want to see the image behind it. The line color we're going to set to, I guess we should probably do green. Would make the most sense. And then we're going to go to 6 points, 6 space PT for 6 points on the density of that line. And I don't want to change the type or anything. So I'm going to say OK and see how that looks. We're close. I'm going to drag that up a little bit. I don't know why my electronics came down here. So let's drag that up and place it again. So I'm just grabbing a handlebar here and I'm dragging it down to where I want it to be again. So I'm not sure why we're getting so much grief out of this thing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring forward, but I'm going to bring it to the front because I want it to be in front of everything because it won't matter. See if I drag it over top there, it's no big deal. So if I drag it right back to where we had it, it's not a problem now. So how's our spacing here? We got a little white gap there, we got a little white gap in there. If I click on the, let's see, send backwards. I think I'm okay with this actually. So let's do a Control P so we can see our page, what it looks like. So I think I like this. The only way we're going to know for sure is by actually printing it. So I'm going to go to my print properties. Obviously, we're going to do this one-sided. We're not going to need a staple, and we don't want it in grayscale. We want it in color. So I'm going to go grab that flyer, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like on the document camera in just a second. So bear with me. Let me go pick that out of the printer, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I am back. So let's put this on the document camera so you can see what we're looking at. So let me switch over to the camera, and then I'm going to put this down on our flatbed. And this is the result of what we've done. So in looking at it, I actually lined everything up fairly decent. The one thing that is missing is our background image. Our background image is seemingly missing from this print. And I'll turn on the base lamp so you can kind of see a good bleed through from the back. We have no background image. So we need to figure out why that happened. So let me turn the upper lamp back on and autofocus, and then let me come back over to the left screen here. So we see it here. So if I go to Control P, we see it here. So that's an interesting issue that we have here. So let's make some changes. If I click on it and I do Format Picture Corrections and we darken that up a little bit, then we apply the fill. Now on the screen it doesn't look so good, in my opinion. But I'll tell you what, I don't know if this will print off the way I'd like it either. I almost wonder if I like this or if I like that. I mean, that seems a little bit cleaner. I'd like your opinion. Leave a comment below and let us know how you found this tutorial. Let us know if you'd like to see other tutorials. I have been, I'm happy to do some of these tutorials for you, and if there's anything you'd like to see, let us know. Send us an email, give the office a call. It's snowing outside, everybody's sitting at home. So if you want to see some of our how-tos, or if you want us to walk through something, or if you want us to slow down on something, if I went too fast for anybody, let us know, and love to hear from you. From everybody here at Weldon PC, I want to say thank you for taking the time to learn how to make a flyer using Microsoft Publisher. And if you need any computer help, we're here for you noon to 8, Monday through Friday. And it's been my privilege to see you today. Talk to you soon.